What's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. Just a quick video for you. I just felt inspired to punctuate this moment because it's out of place. And I always tell you that nothing is by accident in this nation, and certainly among the demons that are running it. I just happened to see that Trump was leaving on Friday for Bedminster in New Jersey for the weekend with his lover, Elon Musk, who, by the way, is more and more of an idiot every time that I see him do anything. He strikes me as a complete fraud. And I'd love to do some deep diving on his background because he is definitely not a smart person. I would even firmly say he's not even intellectual. And he probably stole the main technology and so forth for this Tesla nonsense. In fact, I do have some evidence of that because there was a couple of guys that I saw. There was a whole piece that I saw where these two guys, and there was a brouhaha at the beginning of his sort of rise to popularity and fame as this founder of Tesla, because it wasn't the truth. It's a whole scandal. But anyways, this is not necessarily about him. But it immediately stood out to me that the aircraft is not Air Force One. Now, grant you, Air Force One is just a call sign. It's applied to any aircraft that the President of the United States is being transported on. Certainly a fixed wing aircraft. This helicopter that you see on your screen now is known as Marine One, because it's a Marine helicopter, and so Marine One. But any airplane that the President of the United States is being transported on, its call sign becomes Air Force One for air traffic control, communications, and things like that. But we throw all that straight out the window. Like, that 747 is Air Force One. I don't care if it's got a poodle on it. Across the world, people know that as Air Force One. And it's important to note that there are two of them at the very least, because they do all sorts of decoy things with transporting the president, certainly when an American president travels overseas and things like that. I mention that because I asked myself, how come that's not Air Force One? Why is that not Air Force One? The aircraft that he is getting on is normally known as Air Force Two, which is usually associated with the Vice President of the United States. You will recall that even when, if you're just completely unfamiliar and weren't really paying attention because it just wasn't your thing ever, you will remember, I believe, that the whole time that Michelle Obama, she must be talking about me right there. But the entire time that Kamala Harris was running for president, she was getting off of this airplane because she's the vice president. So even though I even said they should have just let her use Air Force One. It would have made it more. You got to put stuff in people's mind, and it just would have been a good psychological effect if she was coming off of Air Force One all the time, just her, no Joe Biden, and it would just be like, well, she's president already. It would have helped her, I think. There's the bastard. Look, he looks like an idiot even going up the stairs. Look, nobody walks upstairs like that, everybody. That cadence, the body structure, he looks like an idiot. I mean, I cannot with this dude. I cannot. I can't with any of them. But look, I mean, he's a psychopath. And I believe he's also a cocaine addict as well. His top lip is frozen, it never moves. Watch him very closely when he speaks. Watch very closely. But anyway, and so this is normally associated with the Vice President of the United States. So I asked myself, well, maybe there's a shorter runway or something in Jersey at this Bedminster. That happens, you know. You can have runways that can accommodate certain aircraft and things like that. And maybe I wasn't aware that, whenever the president travels to Jersey, maybe this was the first time a president is traveling to Jersey, whatever. And I just made a mental compensation for it and said, well, maybe that's the reason, that, maybe the runway couldn't accommodate Air Force One, because Air Force One is a 747-400, and this is a 757. This is the equivalent of Trump's private plane that he flies on. It's a 757. So I thought, but there's two of them, and maybe there's some runway issue. Until I saw this. This is from 7 years, or his first term. It's from the video stamp says 7 years ago. This was from his first term, and also the first time I've seen a black officer standing at the base, or a black Marine standing at anywhere near him, quite frankly. But anyway, it's from 7 years ago, from his first term, and there he is leaving Marine One. The video says, watch Trump leave for Bedminster, New Jersey for the weekend. And he walks across, just like he did in the first piece that I began showing you, to, lo and behold, Air Force One. So that throws right out the window my trying to deduce and compensate and theorize that, well, maybe there's some issue with the runway, or something, maybe it can't accommodate Air Force One. But there is Air Force One that he's getting on to go to damn Bedminster. So something is suspicious, I proclaim. Why would you use Air Force Two? Because, as I said, there are two Air Force One 747s identical to each other. A lot of people don't know there's two. A lot of people don't know there's two of them. And so it's not like, oh, maybe there was a maintenance issue with Air Force One. Maybe it had some kind of scheduled maintenance, and so therefore they're just using this one in the meantime. But you have two of them. So that throws that off the table. So why is this the airplane? Adding to the sort of ire of it all is that in recent trips, when he's getting on Air Force One, he's not been going up the long staircase that you just saw him go up. He's been going up the short ones that come down from the blue part of the Air Force One, from the bottom. So you don't have to go all the way up to the top. It's this other staircase that comes down, and you don't need to use that truck, that stair truck. This one, just a staircase that's made onto Air Force One, extends down to the ground, and you just walk up it and you're in Air Force One. So that in itself is remarkable. Just the definition of the word. That in itself is just remarkable that he's been using the short stairs. And then now Air Force Two. to go to Bedminster for the weekend. Where is Air Force One? Why isn't Air Force One being used? So it may be nothing of a big deal, everybody, but there's definitely a reason behind it. And so I wanted to make sure that I memorialized and documented this in case it becomes more significant in the days ahead. This is very, very, I'm going to call it suspicious. Because remember, when they move the president anywhere, it is a fully coordinated event. Every detail is coordinated. So it's not just by accident that, oh, here, we didn't know it was going to be Air Force Two. Oh, we didn't know. We didn't. There's a whole reason. What is it? What? And what I think I'm going to do now is I'm going to see if I can find, because this is just pool media feed. You know, there's nobody narrating or anything. It's just, you know, it's just capturing the moment. I'm going to see if I can find a news report from any media source, Fox, ABC, NBC, CNN, MSNBC, anybody that covered this departure from DC to Bedminster, New Jersey, and see if there's any mentioning or questioning or pointing out, excuse me, or questioning, even if I didn't say that already, of why is the president not on Air Force One? Why? Why is this the airplane that was used on Friday? Why? So let me see if I can find something. Okay, it was just a transition for you all, but I've looked for nearly an hour. It doesn't exist, everybody. The only thing that even came close was the Palm Beach Post, Forbes, Washington Post, this one, and there was one or two others. But again, it's just the video feed. There's no commentary to give you anything, and this is remarkable. I need you to think of it in the same regard as if you saw just like a Delta airplane land, and then that's what he gets off of, and you go, wait, what's he doing on Southwest or Delta? Like, where's Air Force One? I'm proclaiming this is the same thing. This is that. And I even found where he was returning from Bedminster. No, strike that. Yeah, it was returning to Bedminster, and it's still this airplane. And wait, I might be confused. Anyways, it was a night shot. That's all I'm trying to say. But he was coming off of this damn airplane, this same 757, and not Air Force One. So I don't know. Something's up. Something's up. I proclaim. I suspect. I don't know what it is. I'm not even gonna pretend like I know. But like I said earlier, I just want to mark this. Just put a marker so that when and if we find out that there is something significant, I can come back and say, remember, see, you guys, what I tell you. You see, because as I've said to you, there is two of those iconic 747s that we know as Air Force One. There is two of them. They sit in the same hangar and everything. And where is either one of them? Why is he on this airplane for this trip? We need to know the answer to that. And the last thing I'll say is just a personal note for you. As many of you know, I lived in Maryland and what we call the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia. I lived in the DMV for many years, and um, I also was on Andrews Air Force Base quite a lot. Initially, me and my brother used to go because my brother's ex-military, and we would be on Andrews for karaoke and things like that. But then when I began working for Xerox, um, I had many locations on the base that I was responsible for to repair their Xerox machines. So I was on Andrews Air Force Base a lot. Um, and but it never occurred to me. I never thought about the fact that, oh, they keep Air Force One here. I just never thought about it. And one day I was driving down 95, and y'all know I'm not patriotic at all. And I'm driving down 95, um, and I'm going past Andrews Air Force Base, and very in slow motion and majestically up over the trees comes Air Force One on its takeoff. Whoa. Don't you know I pulled the car over? Listen, you've not seen that airplane until you've seen it. It's really something, y'all. Wow, that's what made it so striking, because we've seen this thing a million times. Come on. But I'm telling you, and if you haven't seen it in person, you haven't seen it. It's way bigger than it ever looked on TV. It's so shiny and pristine, and that big ass presidential seal that looks like a tiny thing on TV and in pictures, and then the United States of America emblazoned. I mean, it just, even for somebody like me who's not patriotic at all, I was ready to start saying "My country, 'tis of thee." I mean, it's that impressive. I didn't do "My country, 'tis of thee," but what I did do is I start calling people and screaming, "I just saw Air Force One. I just saw Air Force One. I just saw Air Force One." It is a very impressive aircraft. Wow. Wow. One thing that American politics does well is something known as stagecraft. You know, we'll call it giving, you know. And they give. They know how to really set it up, and, all the atmospherics and things with just about all the crap. But that airplane is impressive. I don't care what world leader you are, or what your relationship is with the United States, or the whoever the current sitting president is. When you see that thing come out of the sky and land, you gotta feel some type of way. You gotta feel some type of way. It's just not something you can't ignore. That it is so impressive. Wow. Air Force One. So I've put my marker, everybody. Nobody else is going to do this. And so, again, that's one of the many reasons why the Jedi speaks. So, I've done that now. Something is suspicious about this. At the very least, as I say, it's remarkable, because there are two Air Force One 747s. There's no issue with the runway in Jersey that can't handle that 747. I showed you the video from 7 years ago from his first term, where he was making this exact same trip, and there he was getting on what we all know as Air Force One. Why is he on this aircraft? Why? Why? That's the answer we want to know. I leave this one here. The Jedi has spoken.